Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos, and today I have for you a Psy-Frame deck. Now we are using my monster cards yet again, but Psy-Frames are very interesting. I haven't covered them at all. I actually stayed away from the deck just because I don't know, it didn't really call me to play it. But I saw my boy Choppa200, follow him on Twitch by the way. I saw him using a similar deck and it looked really fun, so I decided to try it. I tested it today extensively, had a lot of different cards in it, and this is the version that I'm mostly happy with. The thing about Psy-Frames though is that although they are a fun deck, their biggest strength is unfamiliarity. If your opponent does not know what Psy-Frames are trying to do or what the deck wants to do, then you're gonna have a fine time playing against your opponent. You're probably gonna win. However, if they are somewhat competent and they know what the deck is trying to do, it's actually super easy to play around. The field spell is it's a big threat. If you don't have the field spell, you're going to struggle because sure, you can special summon Alpha and special summon a driver, but they're gonna get banished or they're gonna get destroyed by your opponent. You can't really go into the synchro play unless you have Psy-Frame Circuit, which is already a downside for the deck because Cosmic Cyclone is just so prevalent in the meta. The other thing is, again, if your opponent knows how to play this against this deck, they can easily play around it. If you're going second and your opponent makes a super extensive play, say you're going up against Shiranui and they put 3 monsters on the board, you pretty much lost at that point because the whole gimmick of Psy-Frames is you want to respond to your opponent's normal summons or special summons. Sure, you have Epsilon that can respond to traps, but other than navigation, unless you're doing something, your opponent's not gonna randomly activate a trap. So that's why I only run the one Epsilon. Alpha is the main guy of the deck. He's the one that can respond when your opponent normals or special summons. Basically, you activate Alpha. Alpha is going to special summon a driver from the graveyard, hand, or deck, and then you get to search a Psy-Frame card except Alpha from your deck. So you can search the field spell, you can search Epsilon, or you can search Multi-Threader. I really like Multi-Thread because he can protect your field spell and your monsters from being destroyed by card effect, which is really good. Can he destroy? Can he? He also protects by battle, so that's also really good. And if he's in hand or graveyard, he becomes a Psy-Frame driver, so you can special summon it to go into a synchro play. But yeah, if you don't have your field spell, you're not gonna be able to synchro. So you're just summoning them, and then they're gonna get banished at the end phase. So it's not ideal right now. We don't have Omega, so all we have is Zeta. We have other level 7s to go into, Samurai Destroyer. Black Rose is a really good play, but the thing about Black Rose is you're wiping your opponent's entire board and you don't really have a follow-up unless you already have your Psy-Reflector. Psy-Reflector and Assault Beast are like literally my only follow-ups. So other than that, I have to wait until my opponent makes another play by normal summoning or special summoning to go into another Alpha and, you know, go into Zeta or go into whatever. So that's why the deck is kind of limited. It can't really do much on its own. You need something else. That's why we're running the Psy-Reflectors. Though I cut Psy-Reflector to 2 instead of 3 because I wanted to focus on getting the Alpha and playing with the Psy-Frame engine. The field spell is way too important, so I run 3 and 1 Demise of the Land. Assault mode activate is just for the Psy-Reflector engine. You know, we have 1 Assault Beast, 1 Treacherous. I didn't want to go double Kite Royer or have more Kribos in the deck because again, I wanted to minimize the chances of having cards that are not my Alpha in hand. That's why when I had 2 Kite Royers, I was opening 2 Kite Royers way too often. Same thing with Kribos. Instead, I replaced it with Vajra. At one point, I had Lava Golem in here, didn't really do much for me. So now I have a Chaos Hunter, which, you know, it's nice. It's an added follow-up you can do, but it really doesn't do much for Psy-Frames themselves. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to get too much into you know, the things you can do with all the Psy-Frames, because I already talked a lot. So I'm just gonna try to explain it as best as I can during the duels. So basically the field spell allows you to synchro when a Psy-Frame is special summoned. That's why if you activate Alpha, you can then immediately go into a synchro play. During damage step also, or damage step or damage calculation, if your Psy-Frame monster is battling, you can discard a Psy-Frame monster from your hand and it gains attack equal to the monster you discarded. You will see all those incidents in here though. So we're gonna add assault mode activate with the beast. We get a Psy-Frame circuit. Was that yeah, Planet Pathfinder. I was running Planet Pathfinder at one point because it's another card that it's nice. We don't use our normal summon other than Psy Reflector. So Planet Pathfinder to get this field spell was nice, but I ended up cutting him to add to have more consistency with the alpha. So we're going up against Dark Lords. Dark Lords are tricky. They're not a threat right now. As you can see, I was running Lava Golem at one point. So I'm just waiting for him to overextend. After I saw that he added the Sanctified and set 2 cards, now I'm ready. If he messes up and summons another monster here, we're gonna go into Black Rose and blow everything up. There's the Nemesis Warrior, so immediately special summon Alpha. Alpha summons Driver from the deck. We're going to search an Epsilon. At this point, I was also not running the other level 6. What I could have done is search the level 6 and then send it from my hand to the graveyard to protect my field spell and just keep it on the board. But anyway, we're gonna synchro into Black Rose, blow it all up. And again, even though I am doing this Black Rose play, I don't really have a follow-up unless I top deck my Psy Reflector, which I do, but at that point my opponent scooped. So that's why you know, Psy-Frames are nice, but until we get Omega, until they get a little bit more help, I don't think you're gonna see much of them. Alright, here we have a Jaden Yubel. Unfortunately, I had to delete a replay that was really good against Cavalry deck. Guy went double Cavalry, I summoned Black Rose and pretty much won. But the duel I saved instead, it's gonna show you why Unfamiliarity is literally the strongest thing about this deck. So it's gonna normal summon the Neos Elias. I'm gonna go ahead and special summon Zeta. No reason to go into Black Rose, I just wanted to put a body on the field. Righteous Justice gonna destroy my field spell, and he goes Skyscraper, destroying my Zeta, which is actually fine because you can shuffle Zeta from the graveyard back to the extra deck and add a Psy-Frame card in your graveyard. So we're gonna add the field spell back. Set the Tretch, and once again we're waiting for my opponent to do something. So this is what I mean, right? Because I'm just waiting here, if my opponent doesn't summon a monster, he can just poke directly 2 turns with Neos Elias and I lose. But because he's gonna summon Blazeman, add a Poly, I know he's gonna keep overextending, so I'm gonna wait it out. We're gonna wait for that Poly to be activated. Alright, goes for Grand Merge. Time to go Zeta yet again. And I can banish my Zeta if I want to, but then I'm gonna take 1200 directly. So instead, we're gonna rely on our field spell. Unfamiliarity. We pitch the Driver that we searched earlier. Go to 5000, destroy the Blazeman. Once again, he tries to go for the field spell because he gets 3100. We're gonna discard Epsilon, go to 4000. Also, yeah. I was gonna say I was also using Vash, but yeah, Vash still in the deck list. I had 3 Vash at one point. I kept, you know, trying different things because, like I said, the deck is really fun, but unless you're able to consistently get your field spell and your alpha turn 1, you're really gonna struggle. Especially against things such as Dark Magician. If you're going second against Dark Magician, you have a huge disadvantage because they can just banish your field spell. So then, what do? You know? Alright, we have my monster cards. Going up against Dark Magician. As I say that, what do? Well, we'll find out what I did here. Alright, Dark Magical Circle. Goes into Silent Magician. Nice. So obviously I can't activate my field spell because Silent Magician is just going to negate that. So I'm going to wait for an opportunity to use Stretch because level 8 can't negate my field spell. But you know, that just set us back a turn, unfortunately. There's the navigation. Goes into a second Silent Magician. So we're going to go for Stretch. It's going to get Silent Magician level 8, which is fine. I'm going to use Griwa to protect myself. That's the navigation. So we're going to activate Psy-Frames Circuit. There's Magician's navigation. Luckily, this time around, I have Epsilon. And this is like the only time where Epsilon is good. We can negate the navigation. However, I didn't want to go, once again, Unfamiliarity, right? Unfamiliarity wins the games. I don't really have a useful level 8. I can go into Scrap Dragon, which is not going to do anything because this is, you know, higher attack. It's my end phase, so it's not like I can attack or anything like that. If we had Omega, I would have a play to make here. But instead, I'm just going to let the cards get banished and hope that my opponent makes a mistake since he seems to be unfamiliar with Psy-Frames. There's Dark Magical Circle, Illusion Magic. I need him to normal summon. Finally goes for Ghost Destroyer. Time to go Alpha. Special Summon Driver. Add a Multi-Threader. Activate Circuit. Black Rose. And I'm going to send the Multi-Threader from the hand to the graveyard so I keep my field spell. But once again, I don't really have a play. I have to wait for him to do something. Ends his turn. We have Badge. End turn. The mice. See, you see the struggle that I'm talking about with Psy-Frames? It's like they just need more. I really think so. Finally he normal summons so we can circuit into Zeta. And then he scoops. Weird interactions. Alright, next we have Kaiba. Luckily though, a lot of times, if you manage to get your opponent to spend enough resources, and then Black Rose, a lot of times they just flat out scoop. You don't even have to beat them down, they're just like, oh, I lost everything, I'm about to get OTK'd, it's an open field, but Psy-Frames don't really explode like that. Alright, heavy starter, going up against my monster cards. Gonna activate Psy-Frames Circuit and chill. Goes for Into the Void. Now that means he has to make a play with his cards or they're all going to the graveyard at the end phase. Poison wins. Alright, we're familiar with Blackwing, so we'll just wait for a good opportunity to go into Black Rose. He has not used his normal summon yet. Now he used his normal summon. We're gonna wait for him to try to synchro. There's the Orochi. Black Rose time. Once again, we're gonna search Multi-Threader to protect their field spell, but blow everything else up. And we get the scoop. Because he can't do anything else. He can't normal summon, he can't special summon, and he has to get rid of all the cards in his hand because of Into the Void. That's best case scenario. That is the quickest way you can win a game with Psy-Frames. And now I'm going to highlight how unfamiliarity is like the biggest strength. This person could have won the duel so many times and just kept playing into what Psy-Frames are trying to do. Alright, my monster cards. We're going second, which is unfortunate. Ghost Destroyer and Seal Tomb, so we know that this is Dark Magician. I need to bait out something. So I'm gonna summon my Psy Reflector, go for Assault Beast, add my Assault mode, activate. We have, there's Seal Tomb, so I can't special summon my Assault Beast. But this is fine. I'm hoping he'll do something about this Treacherous. And, you know, maybe I can get my field spell next turn. We're gonna survive with a measly 100 life. And here comes Unfamiliarity. Psy-Frames Circuit. Absolutely no threat whatsoever right now. If he knew what he was doing, he knows that I can't go alpha and I can't go Epsilon, which are the only two Psy-Frames that exist. He has no room to normal summon or special summon, and there's no need to activate a trap, right? But what does he do? He negates the circuit because he doesn't know what Psy-Frames do. That gives me an opportunity to use my Treacherous. At this point, still, he wins. All he has to do is attack. If he knows Psy-Frames, he knows I need him to normal summon, special summon, or activate a trap. What does he do? Normal summons a Rod. So, it's time for us to go Alpha. Instead of just attacking, he goes for Rod. We're gonna get Epsilon to the hand. We're not gonna Black Rose, it's not worth. Just gonna try to go for Zeta. Luckily, we already have a multi-threader, so this Stretch is no threat. We just discard the Threader, still going to Zeta. Dark Magical Circle adds Illusion Magic. He already has the Navigation in hand, which is unfortunate. Alright, we go for the battle. Navigation. Once again, if he summons Dark Magician in defense position, my Zeta can't do anything. My Zeta gets banished and he wins. If he hits my field spell, he also wins because I have to protect my Zeta and my field is going to be empty. Nope, he summons in attack position. He targets my Zeta. So we're going to dodge. And even at this point, he still wins if he just attacks. But he added the Magician's Rod. So what does he do? Normal summons. Alright. Alpha. Come out here, boy. We're going to go into another Zeta. Sets another Navigation, I believe. We're gonna destroy the Haiku. I didn't want to give him another Navigation, so I'm just gonna wait for him to attack. Alright, there's the Navigation. Hit the field spell, fam. Hit the field spell. Nope. Goes for Zeta, summoning in attack position. Once again, we just dodged. This time I did have Kydroid, so I guess I can't blame him too much. He didn't know I had a Kydroid. We get both Zeta back. Attack boost by 2500 and get lethal over the Rod. That's why I saved that replay. It wasn't a great game for me because it's just, you know, my opponent being a potato and not knowing how to play against Psy-Frames. But that's literally the best thing you can hope when you're playing this deck. Your opponent's smart. I went up against a lot of people that once they knew I was playing Psy-Frames, as soon as the field spell hit the board, if they already had one or two monsters, they were just poking. And sure, you can play maybe less Chaos Hunter, no Bash, go for more back row. But the thing is, if you wanna go for your Black Rose play, which is the flashiest play you can do with this, having stuff on the field, it's not really gonna do anything for you. It's just gonna get destroyed. But I still think Psy-Frames are really fun. I can't wait until we get Omega. Even though it's going to be abused in like every other deck but Psy-Frames, they need a little bit more help, man. And this is what I could come up with after watching my boy Chop300 use them. That's going to be it for me though. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. And until next time.